I am so overjoyed to be speaking with Aditi Pohankar, who I have watched in She on Netflix, as many have seen, and obviously now she's just celebrating the success of her Tamil breakthrough film called Star, which has done very well at the box office. So, a warm welcome to you, Aditi, and thank you so much for joining us on FilmeShilmy.com.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I think Star is a very special film because it talks about fame. It talks about breaking into the industry which you are currently working in. So being
Right.
someone who is, uh, supporting someone who is trying to break through and make the best out of his life when it comes to cinema and artistry, how much did you resonate with that character?
Uh, well, quite a bit. I would say almost 9 out of 10, you know, because it's so strange, I'll tell you, because it's like uh, before I was an actor, I was a runner, and all I did was running. I was a 100, 200 meter sprinter. So we always were told that if you practice and if if your diet is proper and if you are focused, you will reach so and so, whatever, like Olympian or whatever, you'll reach the Olympics or you'll reach the Commonwealth. And yeah, I mean, I started off with district, then I cleared this district, then state, then of course went to nationals. So there was a path, right? That we all knew that if we do this, we'll land there. Like for example, all my friends were studying at that point of time, so they were giving their 10th grade to pass that 10th grade with the GRE CAT and this and that, and then do their MBA and reach a certain, somewhere where they know that they land up in this kind of a job. But with acting, for some reason, I don't see that path. I see that you are somewhere in, like, how would you say, like a fair mela jaise hota hai, and it's like you don't know when you'll hit that merry-go-round, or when you will have to be ready, maybe not eaten, to sit on the giant, that whatever it's called, the wheel, the giant wheel. And when will you be ready? When will that opportunity come to you? There is no certain, there's no timeline. There's no direction. You are just blindly working on something so passionately, which you don't know when will your door be knocked, saying that, oh, your audition is, kind of approved, and congratulations, you've got the part. And you don't even know how to react when you get it. Like when I got She,
Hmm.
I was so overwhelmed, and I'm like, "Ha, theek hai, mil gaya yaar." And I was like, after a point, I was like, "Wait a minute! I mean, I've been doing this for how long to get this part?" And what happens suddenly? Suddenly, you become empty because you feel like, oh, now there's another added pressure of performing it well.
Hmm.
Then, of course, it releasing. Then, of course, people liking it. So there are so many like hurdles, as you say. It's like a 400-meter hurdle. You have to cross every hurdle with that intensity, with that power, and with that, uh, like zest
Josh.
and passion, that
Hmm.
you are like, at one point you feel like, okay, then life, let's start living life with that kind of a zest. Not wait for any opportunity to come. Let's just live life as if we are performing, and that's what I've started doing now. Because otherwise, the whole anxiety levels going up and down,
Hmm.
and kind of fucking me over. Like, I'm excited at one point, and then the next point I'm like worried. Oh, now next what?
Hmm.
So I don't want to be worried. I don't want to be engulfed by a whole mountain of worry that comes with a successful script, like a successful film. Like if it's a
Hmm.
blockbuster, and people immediately, what is the next? Did you sign anything new? Did you do this? And you're like, oh, am I supposed to do that? Oh, am I supposed to do PR? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to like go having on Instagram? So it's quite tedious, and I feel that already as an actor, you are worked, like, kind of worked up most of the times. You're tired most of the times because you're giving so much. So I feel it's better to make life that giant wheel and make it everyday thing, so that whenever the opportunity comes, when you're ready, when you're always ready, it's never going to be a shock. So
Correct.
yeah.
Absolutely. But I think also a lot of the contents that you have done, right? They deal with the whole idea of ambition and
Right,
aspiration.
right, right.
So do you think that this is something that you've consciously looked out for, or do you think that it's perhaps something maybe you've manifested for so long and the projects that you're getting, including Star, are just a
Right.
result of those manifestations?
Uh, yeah, that could be. That could be because after a while, I started becoming a bigger person. You know, I started off with wanting to do this for my mom, and then when I achieved certain things, I said, "Now what?" And then as I started going ahead, at one point it became, "Oh, if not this, then am I going to be educating myself? And then do I have to take a loan for that, or do I have to work another way out, or what do I do? Should I just get married to some guy and live off him?"
Mm,
You know, everything that people talk about. I mean, these are just ideas where people keep talking about it. Like, are you going to get married? Oh, what are you doing next? And you're like, I'm acting. Oh, what are you acting? Like, where are you acting? And when you're doing theater, oh, you're doing theater. Ah, cha, cha. That's why I don't see you around. So, these kind of bomb blasts which happen every moment, killing an actor's spirit. I feel like uh, it's better to the only way you can be sane is by believing, by having faith in yourself, in the divine, and go through the process. Because after one point, I just decided this is what I do, this is what I'm going to be doing.
yeah.
So I'll learn more about it. I'll practice every single day. What is to be done? I have to audition. I'll audition. I'll have to meet people. I'll meet people. Everything in my capacity, I'll do, and then I'll leave it up to the manifestation. Because I think manifestation, the word itself, has this kind of a it's a double-edged sword. Like, you have to understand that if you don't do this, you're not going to get that, and if you don't do that, you're not going to get this. So you can't sit and crib and say that, you can't say that I am not from the industry, so I didn't get this opportunity. That is the reason I didn't land up here. No, no, you can't do that. If you really want to get something, you go out there and get it for yourself. That's the only law of the nature, I feel, and I think that is what the law of manifestation also is.
Yeah. I think there's a certain sense of you being very uh rustic. There's a rustic feel that you have as an actor, which I think
Right,
is very much like someone, you also have this sort of a feel which is also about someone who has a very rough exterior, but
right,
also a very gentleness. So these are very different strands that I think you have as an actor. But
right.
obviously when things are not conventional, I mean, obviously I'm sure you don't try actively to be unconventional, because how does one do that, right?
Yeah.
But when you kind of are distinct from what a system like the film industry sort of has or follows,
Mm,
do you think it's sometimes very difficult to adapt to that though? Because I feel like for the longest amount of time, conventional heroines had a certain look, a certain behavior, a certain way. So did you ever find yourself a little bit disjointed with that ever, or have you
yeah,
always been quite confident in your own skin?
right. No, honestly, I don't think about it because, see, it's up to you. What the best part about a human mind is that it's so powerful that whatever you think about becomes your world, right? So I rather choose my world wisely, and I've been like a student of life with Lao Tzu's teachings, with quantum science, and like you talk about it, and I have all, like, for that matter, even Freud, I have done those as a child. I mean, as we were growing up, we used to do those experiments like, oh, how do you create DMT without doing DMT, that kind of thing. So these things have always intrigued me, and human psychology has always intrigued me because of the same reason, because the same person behaving in a certain way, um, opposed to this person now behaving like this. Why is this character behaving like this, and why is this character responding that way? So everything is actually in synergy, and if you see, we all are a collective consciousness, and we all are vibing at a certain frequency, is what I feel, is what I have at least gathered. So in that, acting as a medium becomes something for me, like a, I would say, a stepping stone, to further figure out who am I as a human being, what am I doing on earth. I want to know that. That's one major reason that I in fact got into performing arts also, that if this doesn't give me happiness, if materialistic desires are now depleting and giving me the happiness, and this society value is dropping, then what is it that will get me more excited? Because I'm telling you, in the next 4 5 years, I was just telling someone the other day, I'll
Mm,
start farming or something. I'll get so puck out with all this drama that I'll be like, हाँ ठीक है यार, मैंने कर लिया, अब और क्या करूँ इसके बावजूद. मतलब I feel Bachchan Saab and all is like so incredible, like at this age, and the passion he has to keep up with everything. I get inspired by them, and then I get back on track if I have to still be a performer. So I feel like it's very easy to leave the jump off the wagon and say, yeah, I tried, and it's so and so and whatever. But it's very tough to stand there and go through all of that and then figure out who you are, then figure out whether you want to do it or not. So I don't think I have reached that point yet, which I feel that I can probably just, like, sometimes if I feel like it, I'll just walk off. But no, I don't think I've reached that point, because it's a parallel universe. Parallelly, it's teaching me my life. It's teaching me
mhm,
who am I. It's teaching me so many things. It's teaching me to be patient, to be tolerant, to be kind, to be humble, more courageous. Courageous for that matter, and basically understanding that this is not it. That even if I win an Oscar, that day is not it. Then what beyond that? Then that day was that day and it is over. Now
mhm,
a new day starts. So how do you start with that new day with a complete clean slate? That, oh, okay, I did this and now I'm doing this, and now start from ground, like from zero, from the grassroots level. So how do you start from there? I think this is what keeps me going.
mm.
Yeah, lately this is what keeps me going.
Right. No, so beautiful. And I think, Aditi, I'm very pleasantly surprised because I was not expecting you to be this philosophical. I'll be very honest.
No,
And
no,
I'm
uh,
so pleased. I mean, I'm sure you probably get that reaction quite a lot though from people, right? When you speak to them. I mean, I don't know, like, is that what they say to you when they speak with you? Okay, oh my, अरे वाह, ये तो काफी philosophical निकली.
नहीं, जब आपकी वो हो जाती है ना, आपका एक्सपीरियंस जब कुछ हो जाता है ना, यू डोंट नीड एक्चुअली लाइफ years फॉर इट. You just need certain experiences in life where you realize that, hello, you are really nobody. You realize that you have to actually leave this body also and go. And do you even realize it, that, oh, this is mine, that is mine, and what do you do with all this mine? One day you have to drop it and go where? So let's figure out where to go, right? Where are we going? That is more interesting then for me. That, okay, after this, what will happen? And that question honestly has been running in my head for such a long time. So I explore it through my characters, with Bhumi, with Pammi, with this girl Surabhi. I try to explore this. That what if this was my life? What if I was in this part of the my journey of my life? I was here. I was like this girl. Then what
Hmm.
would I do? Yeah.
Do you know what? No wonder why Imtiaz Ali chose you for She. Actually,
Oh,
like it just makes a complete. You are an ideal Imtiaz Ali heroine
oh
because
my God.
I feel like you need that depth. Because I see you and like even Tripti, because obviously when she was in Leila Majnu, right? You
Right,
both have this depth as artists and understanding of life,
right, right,
and
right.
embracing vulnerability, which I think is so important.
Yeah,
I love this whole dichotomy that we've spoken about just now, and I think
right.
Bhumi and She is an embodiment of that. And we will come back to
Yes,
Star because I know that is the
yes, yes.
moment, that is the moment of the hour. We will talk about that, but when it
Right,
comes to She, there was this whole contradiction, of what society thinks a woman is,
right.
versus what a woman really wants, and
Yeah,
shredding that further, just to her as a almost this wondrous soul, you know, where she's constantly trying this tug of war that's going in her mind. It was a very bold role as well in many ways. But
right.
the sort of dichotomy that Bhumi faces. Did you ever face that as well whilst playing into that role? Because obviously, especially in scenes which were quite explicit and very much shredding the societal boundaries per se. So how did you deal with all of that?
Right. Well, honestly, I also don't know how I did it. Because when we watched it, my elder sister, she's a writer. She was like, "What the hell? How did you do this?" Because I'm a very shy and a kind of an introvert. I got to know that much later in my life, but I am a very shy person, and of course, I expressed this to Imtiaz in the beginning of the series, that I'm a shy girl and I am little, I don't know how comfortable I'll be with the scenes because I hadn't read the script. And he said, "Don't worry, I'm there. And if you're okay with that, if you can take my word for it." And honestly, I love Imtiaz sir. He's almost like family to me. So I went ahead with everything that he like he promised me that certain things will be taken care, and they were. So of course, Amit Roy, the DOP, I was with such amazing, not just co-actors like Vijay Varma and Kishore Kumarji, but everybody who was the HODs also was so wonderful. Arif sir. So it was like I never felt like I was out of any kind of, I was in a space where, of course, I was out of my comfort zone for sure, because that is not my comfort zone. But to, be there and perform this girl, it took me not just courage, but it also took me a certain level of confidence of the people who are around me. Because, the moment something, like, mind is such a space, that even a smallest of, maybe somebody saying something, or maybe even like a grapevine or a gossip, if it went and hit me somewhere, that Are Aditi, it looks like you're doing this kind of thing, I would have been destroyed, because it was my first script. And my motivation was to impress Imtiaz sir, because he was my favorite director. He is my favorite director, and I was like, wow, if I've gotten an opportunity, I'd rather make sure that I do a damn good job. Even if I fucking collapse after that is fine, but I should do a good job. तो ये मेरा 100 मीटर फाइनल है, ये करना ही पड़ेगा मेरे को. So with that kind of a this thing, like, like a, how you say, it was such a mammoth of a task for me to perform that part. I still remember, because that I was a newcomer, so we had only few days, 50-55 days to shoot that entire script. And shooting such scenes, almost 6, 7, 8 scenes sometimes in a day, would get very tedious, very taxing, and I would be like almost like panting, and I would call Imtiaz sir and say that बहुत हो रहा है सर, बहुत ज्यादा हो रहा है, बहुत ज्यादा. Emotionally, I'm getting damaged, sir. Like, yeah, I know, Bhumi, I know. And I was like, yeah, but you can do it. You know that you can do it. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it then. I'll do it. So, you actually push yourself only with the strength of your mind. So if you can push your mind and put it aside and say that, shut up, I can do this. I'm over you right now. It's your best friend and your worst enemy, your mind, right? So it can really deviate you from anywhere. मतलब अच्छे खासे लोग पागल हो जाते हैं सोच के कि यार मैं पागल हूँ, जबकि वो पागल नहीं होते हैं. मतलब पीपल टेल देम कि आप पागल हो रहे हो and then they can drive themselves mad over Instagram followers also, for that matter, that I have become this person. You see what's going on around in the world. I feel sometimes, am I living in the real world or am I in AI? So where I wake up in the morning thinking that, is it another parallel dimension? Where are we going?
So, you know
What's
what? Honestly,
happening?
I thought it was just me that actually thought that. No, seriously, like oh my God, this is so relatable. I relate so much
Right,
with this sentiment. Like I feel it too. But again, coming back to she and again Imtiaz Ali, like I feel like he really knows how to explore the dysfunctionalities of human emotions and relationships.
right. Yes, yes, yes.
I
That he
think
does.
from
Yeah.
like when you sort of explore his vision and his sort of take on life, on faith, on this dysfunctionalities of the world,
Right.
what impact did that have on you?
Well, I could resonate with it. And, somewhere you've been hearing women talk about this whole being suppressed, or even for that matter, my mom. And we are very vocal about our opinions in the house, not to an extent that we fight at each other. Like, we don't sit and just for no reason we are sitting and like arguing. It's not like that. But clearly, my mom was very, she always said one thing that, uh, uh, you know, if you are going to let somebody walk over you, you're a man, woman, irrespective. But if you are going to react to that person, that means you're giving your power away. Remember that. And opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So you make sure that you don't get hit by it. And you are alone in this world. I don't know why she kept saying that, because I lost her very young. But she kept saying that you're going to be on your own. Remember that. This is your journey. This is your own journey. And I'm not always going to be around. So, and I was like a very baby, like always crying and always being with my mom, like wanting to, like, you know, do everything with my mom kind of thing. And she's like, no, you can't do this. You have to be on your own. And soon when I realized that, when she actually passed, I realized that, wow, if she hadn't made me who I am at that point of my life, also I was like 15, I'd probably be so devastated to even take a step out of my house to explain
Mhm.
the world to the world that what exactly happened to her. or what happened to me after that. So very life-changing experiences, moments which happen, they tell you, they teach you, and I think you choose them. Like
Hmm.
for example, I chose this life. I chose to be this girl. That's why this experience came to me, because I have the strength to deal with it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be presented with it, right?
Hmm.
So then, what is it outside? Then you're going only inward, focusing only inward, only on your journey. And that doesn't mean I'm talking about being selfish. I'm just talking about being more connected to you, who you really are, right?
Hmm.
That's the whole point. And that's why you'll actually, you'll settle down. Once you connect with your inner that's where you'll actually settle down, and you'll stop running behind things, and things will anyway happen like
Hmm.
they are happening. Desires will obviously be fulfilled because we are here to fulfill the desires. The divine created us to fulfill his desire, because we are co-creators, I feel.
Hmm.
Then what are we exactly running from? But it's not that. It's going towards yourself, going within yourself, going towards that divine which is within you. And that space, no, is very, very assuring. It's very uh, it's true. you know you don't need false self over there. False self does not enter there. So then, if this is what I feel, I resonate with Imtiaz sir. I think he also is in that, वो खोज में है, मतलब मुझे हमेशा लगता है, because he's in that, or like even a few year rockstar songs, it says मुझे कर दे मुझसे रिहा,
Ye ha.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
तो मुझे मुझसे रिहा कर दे मतलब क्या होता है? मतलब वही होता है कि मैं अपने आप को ढूंढ के खो जाना चाहता हूँ. Because really, there is just energy that is there in this cosmos, and we are fragments of that. And the moment we understand this, no, half of the traffic situations and problems and politics, it becomes sort of easy to deal with, to handle.
Hmm. Correct.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think it's so fascinating, just hearing you speak about all this. But Aditi, do you feel like, because again, what your mom told you from a very young age, do you feel like you've lost your innocence a little bit though? Like you had to mature very quickly? Because I think that's
Yeah.
one thing that I find with you is that you are so aware about everything, but then sometimes, when you're so aware, you kind of wish that अगर थोड़ा सा नादानी अगर होती, अगर थोड़ी सी
हाँ,
वो
correct.
ignorance is bliss जो कहते हैं,
Yes,
in
yes, yeah,
English, you kind of wish
absolutely.
that as well at the same time.
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, certainly. Like they say, that when you lose a parent, especially if you lose your mom, it's like almost the sun on top of your head is gone. You feel like that warmth at the same time, the strength
छाया जो
at the
छाया
same
जो
time.
कहते हैं.
हाँ हाँ, वो छाया भी at the same time. सब कुछ, मतलब जो सब कुछ तुम सीखना चाहते हो जिंदगी से, वो कहीं ना कहीं आप मिस कर लेते हो फिर एक पॉइंट के बाद. एंड नो मैटर हु इट इज, that feeling, you can't replace it unless you go meet the divine itself, however, wherever you can find it. That's the only way you can feel that warmth again. So certainly, I felt that I lost when she left. I felt that I suddenly grew up. I remember that night when that phone call comes, that phone call which you don't want to attend, in the hospital, and that happened to be for my mom's on my mom's this thing. The name was my mother's name, and that moment I grew up. I felt that, wow, now I have to stand by. And of course, because as an athlete, I always felt like I'm so strong, and I should be strong, those kind of things.
Hmm.
So I thought I have to stand tall now, to take care of my father and my sister, who's
Hmm.
much elder to me, but still I felt it at that point of time. And I felt like, okay, now here on, I'll have to make sure everybody's okay. So I just became that girl at that moment. And from, I think another reason why I probably started acting was because then at many times I leave that Aditi and I go and, become this girl or that girl, or start living this one's life. And it somewhere gives me a relief that I don't have to always be a responsible Aditi who her mother expected her to be, probably. Or even if she didn't, I made it up myself that I have to be this strong girl. And somewhere I feel very liberated playing these characters, that I can just do whatever I want. Yeah, I tell myself this, that I can just do whatever I want. I can play the part the way I want. Plus I get a van, plus I get paid for it, plus people love my work. So, what is it in this job that is not good? So I
Mm.
can't call it a struggle or anything like that. It's giving me my life. It gives me a purpose to live, to explore more people and explore life at the same time. So I feel if you look at it as a journey, it becomes extremely exciting.
Right. And I think, honestly, we've explored this idea as well on our platform quite a lot. And not to quote Rockstar, but as they say, "Toote dil se hi sangeet nikalti hai." And I
Yeah,
firmly believe in this idea. For you to be an artist, you've had to have faced some sort of emotional, mental turmoil in your life. And I don't mean this as a way to
certainly.
self-inflict yourself by
Yeah,
any
yeah,
means.
exactly.
So please do not
Yeah,
try this
yeah.
at home when I say that.
Yes, yes.
But Aditi, I'm sure you'll understand what I'm trying to get at, right? Like I feel
Right.
like
Yeah,
that there then becomes a vessel for you to uh you know transfer that pain through, right?
right.
Have you
Yeah.
ever felt that? Like actually in your experience of acting so far, and perhaps which title, if you could also say in your response, where you've basically had to use pain that you've gone through in your life as a way to um translate that into a character and the emotions you project on screen.
Right. Uh, well, initially, when I started performing, I used to really go in that to that memory and access that memory and feel the pain and all that and come back and then perform it. But then I realized that it's too taxing and it's making, see, Earth is a very exciting place. It has a capacity to take you back to the moment, to the memory as fresh as it was. So
Hmm.
that's why you can live your past, which becomes your present and then the future at the same time, right?
Hmm.
So you can be like, अरे 10 साल पहले ना मेरे को उन्होंने ये बोला था या ये किया था या मेरे साथ ये हुआ था, and you can sit and sulk and you can really get into that space again, which you all took so many years of effort to get out of. So I thought, man, if this is what acting is, then it's very tedious. I want to get out of there. That's why I'm running here. But it's taking me instead taking me back there, you know? Now what do I do? So the whole idea I realized eventually is that to complete an experience, not to run away from that experience. Right. So if I was in grief will never leave me. It will come from somewhere or the other. So if it comes from my performances or if it comes from my scripts, it comes from anywhere, but it will not leave me until and unless I finish it, until and unless I overcome that. So then how do I overcome that? Yes, okay, I can perform this and now move on in life. But what happened was I started getting similar scripts where the girl was strong, where she was going through something, and now I want to change the narrative of my life. So then that means I'll have to change something within me. That's when something outside will change. That's what I realized. So I look at it, I look at acting more like how would I say it? Like a teacher to me. Like the scripts that come to me, they're teaching me and at the same time releasing something within me. So when that happens, the process it started to become so much fun that I don't feel that anymore that मेरे साथ कुछ हुआ है इसीलिए मैं ये कर रही हूँ. और जो हुआ है मतलब for that matter, to answer your question, that do you go there and get it out? In fact, I go there and release it.
Hmm.
Like, I do the opposite. I release it and eventually move on from that grief. So for that, as a craft, of course, I access my sense memories, and the craft is great because without being extremely hurt and upset and all, you can go pick it up it's like a radio station. It's like
Hmm.
93.5, 98.3. कौन सा क्या उठाना है आपको? You have it stored because as you live, you keep watching, and your subconscious is so strong that once you train it, it absorbs everything and it will give you exact how do I say, emotion at the exact time what you have actually given energy to and received it. So
Right.
it's there in your sense memories. So then in your sense memories, so I go there, I access it from there if need be, and then I release what I'm really suffering from. So
Hmm.
it's like like an infinity. It's going on, the energy is
Yeah.
going here, getting cleansed, coming back to me, and then a new fresh something starts. So I thoroughly enjoy acting, I enjoy performing. I just want some good makers to write something amazing, and yeah, I can do a very good job in just promoting myself also.
There's something in the magic of Maharashtrian women, though. I'll tell you something
Is
very
it?
honestly.
Okay.
Because honestly, Smita Patil, um,
Yeah.
traditionally, I mean, big fan, honestly. Like the way she really presented issues of women and stories which talked about, hard stories, like bitter pills to swallow at that time. I mean, outstanding, seriously. Like when I look at her, Madhuri Dixit, in today's day and age, we've got Mrunal Thakur, Ankita Lokhande, Sharvari Wagh. Dude,
Mhm.
there's some magic in terms of
Right.
Maharashtrian women and acting. Now, I wasn't really thinking of this question, but just a thought I wanted to share with you. What do you think it is? Do you think it's because of the legacy that Maharashtrians come from? Because let's be honest, it's a heritage of warriors and fighters,
Right.
right?
Yes, yes,
So do
yeah.
you think that somehow that's really uh translated across the years and the ages as well, in the mindsets as well?
Uh, Well, I think it certainly has something to do with the culture because as I grew up, I remember my grandmother was a theater actress, and so was my father. But professionally, they wouldn't do theater because it was like, I don't know, it was some taboo or whatever. It was known to be, Ari, to survive, what do you
It
do?
was
You're an
frowned
actor.
upon back then. Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty, uh, I don't know what it was, but yeah, my father speaks about it saying that you can be an actor, but you also have to be an engineer. So I mean, why do you have to be two professions? I mean, how will you do both? You can't, right? Plan B रखना चाहिए. ऐसा कुछ था तभी मेरे dad का. There was something like that which I didn't focus on. He said, see, if you're going to do your MBA, then you have to take a loan, and then you have to figure out your education, and you have to do all this. And if you're acting, then you have to figure out how you will survive and you'll be on your own. So I said, either way, I'm going to be on my own, right? So how does it matter? Then I'll just take this path. Why should I do this and then do this, right? So he said, yeah, okay, then go ahead with it because with freedom comes responsibility. Remember that. And he was at a he was an MSc MTech in organic chemistry. So he was with many, she used to make scotch in Scotland and whatnot. I mean, there was his favorite time pass was to like figure out if there is a different kind of fungus in the fridge, which he's kind of trying to grow. हाँ मतलब yellow color का pink color का ऐसे all this kind of because of his microbiology and I was like, dude, these guys are crazy. I mean, my folks in the house, they're completely psychotic. Like, wow, I'm such a blend of two. And my mom was a chemical engineer, so she used to make soap at home because
Got
she
it.
was like, oh, I should not lose touch. That's why. And also, she was a teacher. So I grew up with these guys who are completely like funny, the humorous rather. And my uncle is Pandit Ajay Pohankar. Of course, he's a Pandit Kirana Gharana is our Gharana. So every time it was like, art was always there. And then I felt that then why should I do this? So we spoke of Vijay Tendulkar, sir. Then we spoke of so many other playwrights. Like I remember I did at that point, I did Miro Gavran. I used to read a lot, for
Mm,
that matter, Czech and all that, Chekhov and all that. So we were like, I was always confused that why are these guys doing these 9 to 5 jobs? I don't understand when
yeah.
they're so interested in performing arts.
Right.
And that's what my dad said because I couldn't do it, you do it. But I know one thing that unless and until you're pushed financially, not that I can't support you, but unless and until you're pushed, you'll not succeed because this field is like that, or for that matter, life is like that. So you go live your life on your own terms and have fun with it. And I was like, okay. And I was just out of 10th at that point of time. My father was extremely liberal. For some reason, I don't know. He was very, bindas, and at the same time, he was extremely strict. So I knew that if I'm saying this or making a decision, however old I was, it didn't matter. I couldn't go back saying that, sorry, I can't do this. So that I think is there in the. I've seen a lot of Maharashtrians be very, firm about it. That
Mm,
see, yeah, boss, you're saying this, then you have to do it. Then no matter what, that person will follow that and do that.
mm,
So I feel that culture, the cultural backing, no, as you say, there is always a thing that, oh, I shouldn't do anything wrong, or I should always be over prepared, or I should not do like, for that matter, Punjabis are full of life. Like that
yeah.
Maharashtrians and Bengalis, na, they are like, हाँ जितना है उतने में ठीक है. मेरे लिए
Mm,
वो बोलते हैं ना, मेरे को पगार मिलते हैं, मेरे लिए ठीक है. It's exactly like that. कि मेरे लिए ठीक है, अभी चल रहा है, मेरा सब चल रहा है, अच्छा चल रहा है. तो वो है ही नहीं उस कल्चर का, वो ही नहीं है उसका, फ्लेवर नहीं है वो कि देख लेना मैं क्या करूंगा एंड ऑल दैट. बट एट द सेम टाइम There's a lot of hard work. What I see in Maharashtrians also, a lot of hard work, dedication. If you are hiring a Marathi, I would say like a like a secretary or a accountant or a chartered accountant or something, you make sure that he'll never dupe you. He'll never kind of do
Yeah.
hera fairy and all that. वो उसके beyond ही नहीं जा सकते. They're like, नहीं 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 ऐसा कैसा? We can't do this. No no no. It's like that. So
Which is quite ironic you say that, because like in Hera Fairy, one of the main characters, Baburao
yeah.
is actually Maharashtrian.
But
So
yeah, right. But yeah, as a whole, I'm saying, the
yeah,
community resonates that,
of
and
course.
they're very anal about so many things, and they are like,
Yeah.
you see Pune, if you go to Pune, you'll know that people are, very particular about timings. They are very
Mm,
particular
mm.
about you can't, the store will be shut at 4, then it will open at, so you see actual culture in Pune. Bombay is like quite a mix of a lot of cultures, like Gujaratis and Marwadis
Yes,
and
it's a
Maharashtrians.
melting pot of cultures, actually, to be,
Yeah,
which I
absolutely.
love the most, to be honest, about Mumbai.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
But I think what I want to sort of, as a final segment of the interview, I really want to talk about, I think this whole pan-India appeal that's happening right now, which I'm so happy about. And I think if there's anyone who's kind of been uh, a part of that experience and who's really amplified that through their craft, it's you. You've done Marathi work, you've
Yeah.
done Hindi, and now you've done Tamil. So I think let's talk a bit more about Star, because I know it's done very well at the box office, and I think
Mm.
the sort of love that the South has for their stars, for the stories, and they really lap it up. They have a
Right.
very strong, firm, loyal audience base.
Yes.
So for you, exposure to that, especially in a role which is so emotionally driven, uh,
Right.
what did that teach you in terms of experience and the reach that you now have in South?
Right. Yeah. So, like this girl, no, Jimiki, her name is Surabhi and her pet name is Jimiki. So, Jimiki is Jumka, basically, in Tamil. So, what I felt was that I had a huge issue about this. If you watch the film, she gets slapped by the boy. I mean, her husband. And I had a huge issue with that. I was like, boss, ऐसा तो ये तो सही नहीं है that he's slapping her and she's okay about it. And I said, my mother, no, she'll come down from the heavens and say, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you taking it even in a film? But this
Yeah.
is not done. You're not my daughter. I disown you now. So I said, why is this happening? So he said, no, it's because the film goes from here to here. And then when I understood that, yeah, okay, it goes from point A to point B or C to D, then it makes sense to me. And I said, okay, I'll do it. But what I realized about this girl was that she uh, she was always portraying to be the weak one and always uh, at the back foot of the situation. But her strength was derived from there
Hmm.
because she's been abused by her father. And, this boy comes and he kind of takes that position of a man that she's always looking forward to, who will stand by her. Instead, she's always taking care of the father, paying his rent, usse maar kha rahi hai. Then, then this boy comes into her life. And then something similar happens with him too. Like he also slaps her. And that's when she like kind of goes back. And that moment for me was so amazing that that she's still standing by her dream, because now by his dream, because now that has become her dream,
Right.
that he becomes somebody. And that takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of courage. I'm saying, even if it was her sister or mother or whatever, this girl, her character would have been this. She would have stood by anybody who was wanting, and she could see that he was struggling to get there. He was honest, so she was vouching for his honesty. At the same time, her courage was driven by his honesty,
Hmm.
and the fact that he was not giving into life, because she gave into life. According to her, she gave into life. That ठीक है यार, अभी fate है that my father hits me and now you hit me. But when he succeeds, that's her success too.
Hmm.
And for that, she pays a small price of being at the back foot. That's all. So I think this kind of a dynamics in a character, no, it can be really looked upon as, "Arey, ye to, it's too unreal to
Aggressive.
be true,
Hmm.
too this thing pretentious." And for that matter, we've seen these girls in the 90s or something, but that's not true. Every character has their own reasons to behave the way they are behaving, and
Hmm.
they are always drawn from the experiences of the past. That's why we spoke about the past as like, because I think this girl was like, at least she has another shot to life.
Hmm.
She has another chance towards life, and her chance towards life is only going to be valid up till she thinks it is valid. The moment she thinks
Right.
that there's a wrongdoing to her, when she knows it's not a wrongdoing, it's like I was just talking to someone, and if you are full of pain, then all I can offer you is pain. If
Hmm.
I'm full of hurt, all I can offer you is hurt. If I'm full of love, all I can offer you is love.
So
So
true.
in
It's
this,
the vibrations,
yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
internally.
exactly. So in this scenario, what happens is he's full of pain and she's full of love. So she's just trying to heal him with her love. That's all.
Hmm.
तो उसमें कोई ऊपर नीचे नहीं होता है. लव में सब सरेंडर हो जाता है. मतलब आई एम नॉट सेइंग इसका मतलब ये है कि तुम झापड़ खाओ. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट. बट when he explained this to me, and when I connected the dots and understood that what happens after that scene, so after that scene, his realization was important, which happens to Kalai, the character. So that is why I was okay doing the scene and taking the jhapad also. And I said, wow, this girl is she's amazing. Like she's kind of, she's drawing the core qualities of a human being, of humanity, which is like she's operating from compassion, from kindness, from love. And certainly I would like to, indulge into something like that so that I feel it too.
Hmm.
Takes me forward, like one step ahead from where I am as Aditi.
And I think also from what I've learned is that a lot of these see, we Indians are just by virtue very emotional.
Oh,
That's a fact. But I
yeah.
think one thing that I love about South Indian films is that they're very much, they tug at the heartstrings a lot.
Yeah. Right,
It's there's a very strong emotional connect that's there.
right,
Again, for you, because it's quite different from you doing a she and even a Lai Bhaari for that matter, to doing a film which is a bit more emotionally poignant in that way. I mean, it's a big difference, right? From an artistic
right,
and language perspective too, right?
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, certainly, certainly. And with languages, what happens is that with different languages, especially, the culture is different. So you have to understand that means something, or sitting cross-legged means something else, or just doing this means something. So that becomes a bit of a challenge for me because since I'm not grown up in that region, especially with Chennai, and I'm a very bindas kind of a person, but that doesn't mean मैं पागल नहीं हूँ. I'm in my limits, and I'm like, I crack jokes, and I'm like generally a very kind of a fun person to hang out for myself. Like I
Hmm.
hang out with myself a lot, so I think I'm fun with myself. So वो ना थोड़ा I felt like when they said that no, Surabhi is like this, Surabhi is like that. So I said, oh, okay. What does that mean? Why is she doing this? Why is she doing that? So then no, it's like that only. I said like that only means what? But why like that only? So when I asked these questions, I realized that yeah, culture plays a big this thing. Like if you see Bhumi and her strata, like where she comes from, lower middle class, उसमें ना दबाया ही जाता है सबको in a way,
Yes.
especially women.
Oppressive.
And then even if she's a cop, she's like this, and she's always like, ah, nahi, always scared of her husband. For what joy, God knows. What is he going to do to her? Similarly, with Ashram, I did Ashram and I played a wrestler in that, Pammi. She's also from a lower strata at that, her,
Marginalized.
given gesture.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, but she was never afraid. She was a different girl altogether. So I realized that because she's a Haryanvi girl. Here, this girl was a Marathi girl from Mumbai.
Hmm.
So when Surabhi happened, I was like, which strata is she from? I have to know that. Just because her father is sitting in a house which doesn't look that great doesn't mean she is from that strata. What's her thinking like? Where is she coming from? What's her thought process like?
Hmm.
That will matter. And that comes in the culture. It's rooted in the culture. Are you suppressed as a woman in a culture? Or are you uplifted? Are you from a background where, how Punjabi women behave, right?
Hmm.
You see, just opposite to that, how the women from the south will behave.
Hmm.
There is a certain way they even nod for that matter. And it took him wait.
So cute.
Yeah, so I think that is what I think that's what the culture adds and subtracts at the same time.
Absolutely. So very beautifully articulated. But look, before we wrap up, a quick question. It's wonderful to see the body of work you're doing and to hear the amazing process that you go through as an artist each time. But what's next now for you? I hate asking that question, but it's just a typical
Yeah,
journalist question so that,
right,
it
right,
gets us
right,
excited and then so we can
right.
chase him up for another interview. And even your cat is excited by this
Yeah,
question.
he just wants to,
That's
you want
okay.
to talk? You want to
It's
talk?
okay. I don't mind. I don't mind him being there. It's okay.
Well, okay. Wait,
I
two
don't mind
minutes,
it.
wait. I'm almost done.
उनका पहला इंटरव्यू
So, yeah, I have two amazing scripts upcoming, and of course, they are in my. I can't even say. I can just say
Oh, Aditi, go on. You might
because
as
they'll
well
kill me,
give me
man.
give me a flavor. I think we've had such a nice, candid conversation. I think the least we deserve is a nice little exclusive. Go on.
Seriously, I'm so fed up. I'm like, either you guys release soon, or then I'm going to talk about it because I can't keep mum about it for such a long time, right?
Okay, तो एक clue दे
But
दो. हाँ.
क्लू इज जहाँ पे आपने भूमि को देखा है वहां पे, और दूसरी चीज मम्मी जहाँ पे दिखेगी फिर से दिखेगी जल्द ही. Oh God, I'm like so bad at it. I'm going to give away everything and they're going to call me and they're like, you
अरे वाह.
always do this, you know. Yeah. So, but yeah, there are three scripts that are coming, which people will really enjoy, I think. And I'm very happy that after last whole year I was shooting for that, and I'm happy that I'm I'm you know it's great that there are female oriented scripts and I'm getting those parts. Touch wood. I'm very happy about it that people are thinking about me in those parts, and hopefully doing justice to them because exactly I don't have anything else in life to do. I just perform. I mean, I just act. I mean, I'm
Oh.
just doing that. So I did do my best at doing that because my entire focus is now doing this unless and until I start farming. But that's going to be a while.
Yes, absolutely. No, no, no. I think we're
Mhm.
we're we're not done with you yet. I think I want to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
more
yeah, I
from
think
you,
so.
but I think it's so wonderful. In fact, अभी तो शुरुआत हुई है, to be very honest. I
हाँ
think
हाँ मुझे शुरुआत
so.
हुई है.
We've got so much more amazing stuff to see. But oh my God, Aditi, this was exactly the sort of interviews that Filme Shilmy thrives off, honestly.
Wow, I'm so
Because
happy,
we
Vincent.
love candid interviews. I mean, it's definitely something which
Right,
has really been a huge part of me as a journalist as to why I wanted to even do interviews in the first place. So thank you so much
right.
for finding
Thank you so much.
that security in me as a host and allowing me to talk to me about
Right.
these things, because I really genuinely cherish
Likewise,
it.
yeah.
So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And congratulations on Star once again. I can't wait to catch up with you
Yes.
super soon.
Soon, soon. Yeah. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you, Aditi.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.